Hey there, Judy Jameson, the Psychic here, and welcome to Intuitive Tuesday. This week's short video lesson, I'm going to share with you 2 basic, simple, easy peasy steps to help you communicate and connect with spirit. So if you've ever been curious as to how you can do this without any super special psychic skills, I'm going to share with you my secrets right here in this video. So if you are totally into all things spiritual and you want to learn what your natural intuitive and psychic gifts are and how to develop them for personal empowerment and healing in your life, you're going to want to hit the subscribe button that is right underneath this video, and I'm going to give you a second to do that right now. Make sure you hang out till the end of the video because I have something that may interest you to help you take your natural beginner's mediumship skills to the next level. All right, so let's get started with this week's training, right? Why you're here. So a lot of people think, I'll say Hollywood really effed it up for a lot of people. Everything that Hollywood tells you is a bunch of horse shit. It's crap, okay? It's not the reality of how you actually connect with spirit. What you would be expecting is generally based on what Hollywood tells you, and I'm going to tell you firsthand, everything Hollywood tells you is an over-exaggerated lie. In this video, I'm also going to share with you some real-life examples as to how do you know if you've plugged in and connected with spirit, and I'm going to share with you, it really has nothing to do with like what Hollywood tells you. All right, so in the physical world, we have a telephone, right? And all you got to do is dial a number and you connect with someone and you hear their voice. Well, unfortunately, in the spiritual world, they don't have a physical body with a throat. They don't have a physical phone. It's all energy. So in order to connect with the other side, instead of using a physical phone, what you need to do is just simply tune into the energy frequency. I'm going to share with you 2 ways that you can do that, or actually 2 steps to getting there. So the first thing that you want to do, if I can equate it to establishing a connection, right? When you dial up somebody, you pick up the phone with the intent, I'm going to call so-and-so, and this is their phone number. When you connect with spirit, the way to dial in is simply, are you ready for this? Thinking of them. If you think of that person, you already established that energetic connection. It's a thought. You set an intention. I want to connect with so-and-so, and instead of dialing the phone number, you think the thought, the process of visualizing you connecting with them. So simply by stating to yourself, I want to connect with Aunt Susie, guess what? You've already dialed in the phone number. Now, the second part is waiting for that person to pick up the phone and connect. Now, in order for them, because this is a 2-part thing, a lot of people think when you connect with spirit, it's you doing something and you plugging in, and think of it like this way. Sometimes they're not always home to answer the phone. So when you start learning how to dial in and connect with spirit, don't get upset if you're not getting an answer, because they might not be answering the phone. So let me explain a little bit more about that. In order for you establish the thought, right? The next step is for them to pick up. To make it easier for them to pick up, you have to be in the receptive mode, meaning you cannot control when they pick up the phone, how they pick up the phone, how they choose to communicate and connect with you. So if you're having any preconceived notions as to how this experience is going to work, you're blocking the communication. You have to just completely and totally be open and allow them the freedom to come in whatever way, shape, or form is easiest for them to come to your energetic level and start giving you some signs. Also, as part of you not controlling and dictating how that communication is established, you really have to believe, okay? Because if you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to think of so-and-so and connect with them, and in the back of your mind, your ego's like, this is a whole bunch of horse shit. I'm not going to get nothing. This is too hard. It can't be this easy. Guess what? You are shutting the doors. Do not, let me repeat, do not rationalize this experience. Again, by rationalizing it, you're tuning into the physical, everything that you can see, hear, taste, smell, touch, and you're expecting something from the same. you're not working in the physical world here. You're working in the energetic world. So you're going to have different experiences. So let me give you some basic examples. And you know what? I'm going to give you some advanced examples here too. So basic examples. Do not mistake anything as a coincidence, okay? Because the second you start thinking, oh, that's just a coincidence, again, you shut the doors to communication. So there is no coincidences, okay? Throw that out the freaking window. So some examples as to how spirit might communicate with you. And again, I could just share personal ones. They come in through your clairs, okay? It's just like your 5 physical senses, but on a different level. So clairaudiently, Hollywood will tell you that you hear disembodied voices. May or may not think of that as like the 2% rule. Most people don't hear it that way. So one of the ways your crossed over loved ones or spirit, depending on who it is that you're trying to tune into, would communicate with you via clairaudiently. Again, Hollywood will tell you hear disembodied voices. How it normally happens, one, it could be through the radio. You'll be thinking of your loved one, or maybe you're not, and all of a sudden a song comes on the radio that was your grandmom's favorite singer. Okay, for me, whenever I'm in the car and I hear Queen, the rock band Queen, on the radio, that to me is my dad. So don't take it as a coincidence. So the next thing that I start doing is I visualize that my dad is right there in the passenger seat with me. And I will have a full-blown conversation with him. Again, keep yourself open. Entertain the idea that they hear you. They're right there with you. They hear you. You just have to be open as to how they communicate back to you. Another example could be if you're not even awake yet in the morning brushing your teeth, right? And all of a sudden, something that your great-grandmom would always say to you might pop into your head. It might sound like your voice. You might hear their voice. There's just so many different ways that it comes in at random moments. Another basic way that they come to you, think of it like doppelgangers. You run into somebody. There was this one time I took my youngest when she did gymnastics, and there was this man who was sitting at the table where all the parents were. This man was the spitting image of my father. So lookalikes are another basic way that they might come to you. Random thoughts, reminders of things. So if you're out and about shopping somewhere, and I don't know, for me, like if you see, I don't know, you're out shopping somewhere and you see something and you're like, oh, my crossed over parent would so love that. Guess what? You just dialed in and plugged into them. Sometimes I even buy my deceased loved ones Christmas gifts. I do, and I just put them around my house. Another basic way that they would come visit you is through a dream. Now, let me explain to you real quick the difference between a dream and a true visit. Dreams, generally, once you wake up, you forget about them. You forget all the details. If you have a full-blown visit from a crossed-over loved one, it feels real. You will wake up and you will remember it for the rest of your life. You don't forget it. You remember in detail everything about that visit. So there's just a little tidbit on the difference between a dream and an actual visit. Now, again, you invite them in. Just invite them in and pay attention to anything that triggers anything that makes you feel like or think of them. Now let's go into some, I want to say maybe a little bit more advanced techniques or ways that you can tune in. Or not even ways that you would tune in. It's experiences that you might experience. So one of the things for me, when I tune into spirit, or I just say spirit, but really I guess I'm really talking about your crossed over loved ones, I get tingling sensations. So whenever I'm doing a reading and you have to figure this out like on your own, how your body communicates with you. The only way you figure it out is just practice over time. So whenever I am thinking of my dad or my brother and I open myself up and I invite them in, you know how you get the goosebumps? Did you ever talk about ghosts or creepy things and then your hair stands up? Guess what that is? That is them, their energy coming into your physical aura, making your hair stand up. So whenever I'm doing a reading for somebody and I feel like, and a person comes up in a reading and I ask myself, is this a living person or a dead person? Immediately, if my hair stands up, that tells me it's a dead person. It's a clue. It's a sign. If you're thinking about a crossed over loved one, talking about ghosts and spirits and stuff like that and your hair stands up, that's a physical sign. Do not take it as a coincidence. Somebody's energy came in your aura and the reaction was the tingles. Another way that you can, I'll say, connect with the spirit world is visually. So visually would be using your eyes. So I'm going to share with you a photo here of an example of one day I was doing a reading for somebody and I looked, and you can get visuals anywhere you are at. Spirit will, you have to expand your consciousness and really allow yourself to be open in any way, shape, or form it comes to you. So right here's a photo of, I think it's dead sea salt that I have in my office, right? And normally you just look at it and it looks like dead sea salt. But something I experienced, what I call a stoner moment, which is when you find yourself just drawn to something and you zone out and you go into what I call la la land. Allow yourself to go into that stoner moment. And what I saw here was a woman in blue who had very short bangs. Her hair was like a little bit shoulder length. Her hands were together over her stomach or her heart. So you see here, like, when you allow, and again, the only way I can explain this is it's like trippy moments. That's exactly what this stuff is like. There's another image here, if I can find it. I was on vacation one day, and I shared a room, and I took all the linens that were off the bed and threw them onto a chair. And as I was laying in bed the night I was there, I kind of started getting a little creeped out, like feeling like I wasn't alone. And my eyes were just drawn to these sheets. And then I realized, holy freaking shit, there's a man in the sheets. And again, you just tune into it. A tool that you could use is meditation. But the main 2 points here that you have to remember is, one, thinking of them establishes that connection. The second part is waiting for them to pick up, and it's just a matter of you being open and receiving. Believe, do not dismiss things as coincidences. Do not justify and rationalize and squash anything that comes to you. The more you get in the routine of being open and receptive, the more your synchronicities or coincidences will happen. You might see number sequences all the time that is someone's birth date or the date that they died. All kinds of crazy things come into play here. So do not discard and squash anything that comes to you. The more you get in the routine of opening, the more your ego would want to say, oh, that's a coincidence. Throw that shit aside, because the more you ditch the ego and the coincidences, the more things will start happening and you'll be able to pick up on things. So before I go a little bit more into this and do a recap, I would love it if you would pause the video and comment below and share any story that you have on how you were able to receive the communication, how you connected, or what your experience was. Was it through a dream? Was it through tingling sensations? Was it through the radio? Did you actually physically see them? Communicate below. I'd loved to read about it and hear about it. So do me a favor, comment below your experiences. All right, so before I tell you about this really cool thing I have for you to take things to a whole nother level, let's do a quick recap here. 2 simple steps to connecting with spirit. 1, think of the person. You have to decide who it is that you want to dial up in contact with. So as you're thinking of them, go through memories, go through sensations, go into fantasy land in your head to establish that connection. The second part is just being open and giving them the time and the space to start sending you signs. Now, if you find yourself getting frustrated with signs, you want to learn how to speed things up, how to really plug in and connect like lightning freaking fast, underneath this video, there's a workshop I did not that long ago on how to connect with your crossed over loved ones. It's a 2-hour workshop that you have lifetime access to. Watch it as many times as you freaking want. It's yours forever. It's 2 hours of a recorded live workshop that I did that will give you detailed instructions and so much more, various different ways how to connect with your crossed over loved ones. So if that's something that you're interested in, the link is right below. Depending on what time you're watching this video, at the point of making this video, it's on sale right now for less than $30. How freaking, oh my God, less than $30. I will give you 2 hours of detailed instructions on how you can connect with your crossed over loved ones. You do not need to be psychic. You do not need any fancy tools. We all have the same gift. We are all born with this. You, my friend, are just as much as psychic as me. It's just a matter of you allowing yourself to be receptive and open to the concepts of it. So again, if that's something that you're interested in, check out the link that is right underneath this video. And again, don't forget to pause the video and comment below and share your experiences with me and everybody else. I love reading that kind of stuff, right? So, okay, there we go. Let me wrap up this video. I got stuff I gotta do. If you're not already a subscriber, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Check out the links below. I hope you have a wonderful, phenomenal, kick-freaking-ass week. And hopefully I will see you right here next week on this channel. See you later.